Coming up in today's video, we're talking about WWE 2K23. There's some controversial news there. Also, we got to talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling, Jay White, and what's happening there. And yes, we got to talk about some shocking news for WWE. Maybe a swerve being pulled very, very soon. So we're going to talk about it all in today's video. Guys, I want to kick things off with Scarlett Bordeaux because there's been a lot of talk about Scarlett, who was advertised for WWE 2K23 as a playable character. Now it appears that she's been pulled from that list of playable characters, and nobody really seems to understand why. This seems to be a situation in which maybe a mistake was made, and maybe Scarlett was just included in the WWE 2K23 game, not as a playable character, but perhaps as a manager or something of that some sort. So here's the thing. WWE 2K23, for me, looks very exciting. I've talked about this. I did a live stream on my other channel. I am excited for WWE 2K23. I don't know how I feel about the roster. The roster got revealed. It just seems a little bit disappointing that there were some people who got released, then they came back. They were part of 2K22. They came back to WWE. They couldn't just add them into WWE 2K23. It was a very unique situation. I don't know how I feel about this roster reveal. So far, the only good thing that I've seen out of it is that there are less duplicates, which is a great thing. But the idea that Scarlett Bordeaux, I mean, yeah, maybe she's not an active wrestler wrestling every single week, but it's not like it would be hard to put her moveset into the game and make her a playable character. So I think that's the reason why there is a lot of people who are talking about this, who are disappointed, especially if you're in the WWE games realm. If you don't play WWE video games, or if you don't care about AEW video games, you probably don't care about this type of stuff. But the biggest thing for WWE and AEW going forward with their games is making sure that they have a pretty accurate roster. And when things like this happen, it causes confusion. Keep in mind, this is also being talked about literally just days after there was confusion about Johnny Gargano not being in the game or being in the game, which then there was some clarification that he was in the game. If you guys do want to pre-order WWE 2K23 and AEW Fight Forever, I actually have a link in the description. As an Amazon influencer, I do get a kickback from it, but I'll be playing WWE and AEW on this channel or on another channel or on Twitch or something. So if you guys want to play together, just let me know. Drop a comment down below. Guys, let's talk about Jay White. So Jay White is saying goodbye to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Yes, he lost to Hikuleo. This was a conversation, a topic that people have been talking about for days now. This is not relatively the news, but what's really interesting was on Sunday, there was a report from Fightful Select who noted that New Japan talent are under the belief that Jay White's contract with the company is up sometime between NJPW Battle of the Valley and WrestleMania. And the details were very, very limited. So now what's really interesting is late last night, Jay White goes onto Twitter and posts photos of his NJPW run, and he goes on to say peace. Like, he is saying goodbye to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, what's really interesting with Jay White leaving, a lot of people believe that there is some confusion here because when New Japan was tweeting out the Battle of the Valley card, there was a graphic of Jay White being included on that. So is Jay White actually leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling, or is he just leaving Japan and then wrestling for NJPW in America? That could be a possibility. There's a lot of confusion here, and I understand why there's a lot of confusion here, but I think once something more concrete comes out, we'll be able to have some updates. There's a lot of people who are leaning towards Jay White going to AEW. There are a lot of people who are leaning towards Jay White going to WWE. I, for one, think it would be better to see Jay White in WWE. I feel like AEW really needs a top babyface in the company, and I feel like that position has to go to Adam Cole. I don't want to see, I'm just going to say it. I don't want to see Jay White go to AEW and just become another roster member that we see once in a while. Jay White going to WWE under Triple H, I would feel very comfortable that he would be in a very high up part of the card. I think he would be a great opponent for Cody Rhodes if he were to win the WWE Universal Championship, Undisputed Championship. I think he would be a great opponent for Roman Reigns. If they want to have an outsider dethrone Roman Reigns, probably not likely. But my point that I'm making is you can put Jay White in some massive feuds in WWE. You could do the same thing with AEW. But I think it would be more of a benefit for WWE to have this guy come in. Whereas AEW, I feel like they already have a lot of top guys who aren't necessarily being used. That's somewhat of the concern. I want to discuss a very interesting story, guys. It's shocking news. WWE is not changing up their plans. That's right. Jay White, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, whatever names that we're talking about in pro wrestling. We can talk about Jay White coming to WWE and dethroning Roman Reigns. We can talk about Finn Balor. We can mention random stuff, but it appears all the speculation really doesn't matter. It appears that WWE, genuinely speaking, is not willing to change their plans. It seems like Triple H and that new creative direction has actually been very firm on their creative plans. Now, things could obviously change. Obviously, Meltzer kind of spoke about this too, about how WWE kind of locked in their plans and they're going with it. We don't know what those plans are. Is that Sami Zayn beating Roman Reigns? Is it Cody Rhodes beating Roman Reigns? Or is it what I predicted, where Roman Reigns will defeat both of them and Roman Reigns will continue to hold the championship for, I don't know, till WrestleMania 40? I know some people call me crazy for that. I genuinely believe it's going to happen. But it appears that Triple H and WWE has been so firm on their creative plans that any expectation for Sami winning should be very, very lowered. Very, very little expectation going for Sami winning the championship. Now, WWE did have Sami Zayn going on like this media run through, especially in Montreal. He was just involved with the Montreal Canadiens NHL hockey team. He was shooting some pucks during intermission or whatever. Montreal is going to go freaking crazy for Sami Zayn. When you think about it, WWE, I see a lot of people too, they have this really shocking prediction, right? Oh, Sami Zayn's going to win in Montreal and he's going to get the massive pop. And I'm not saying that's not possible, but the one thing that you got to keep in mind is they had Drew McIntyre in a stadium with like 60, 70,000 people or whatever it was, and they still had him lose to Roman Reigns, and they sent the crowd home unhappy. So just saying, don't get your hopes up. WWE has had these plans in place, and based on previous reports that we talked about on this channel, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens was the move for WrestleMania 39. So I do think it's really important to mention that these are, regardless of the crowd reaction or whatever it may be, it seems like Triple H and WWE have kind of learned from the Vince McMahon era, where they're constantly throwing out scripts and ripping them apart during the show that it goes live. So yes, the crowd reaction has been big for Sami Zayn, but the belief is that Triple H is not changing his mind on whatever the plans are actually what they're going to be. That's going to be interesting to see how it all unfolds. I don't know what to think. I like Sami Zayn. I like Cody Rhodes. I like Roman Reigns. I think literally the storyline and storytelling has been so incredible. I could care less just because it's been so good. Like, I couldn't care less. Or I could care less. No, I can't care less. What the hell am I saying? Nonetheless, I think you get my point. I don't really care which route they choose to go because I feel like I'm going to be pretty damn happy regardless. That's my point. Tongue twisters for days. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.